Hello, welcome back to my series in Factorio, in which I'm attempting to build my very first mega factory. My name is Azrael. Come along with me as we continue our adventure. Today we are going to focus on getting our science facility up and running because it's just been too long that no research has been happening. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to extend the master bus farther to the north. I'm just letting my construction bots do most of the heavy lifting for me. It's kind of interesting watching them all just flit around like that. And once again, we see the progress bar effect on all of our stuff there. It's always kind of interesting to watch that. And I run out of express belts in my inventory. That's going to be happening a lot. I'm first of all going to add an extra two gear assemblers up here to feed into that the belt assembler, just so that it happens a little bit more quickly. I did that with the underground belt assembler episode or two back, and never did it for the actual standard belt itself. So hopefully that'll help keep up with the incredible demand that we're going to be putting on it in this episode. We're just using excessive amounts of belts to get our new facility up and running. All right, and there it mostly goes. Okay, there it is. And we're going to do a few more iterations. First, I'm just going to scout out up here. I know I cleared out all the biter bases in the last couple of episodes, but they move into the neighborhood rather quickly, so I want to make sure that that hasn't happened while I wasn't looking. But for now, it all seems to be clear, so I'm just going to steam ahead. And once again, I'm out of express belts. I just decided to pick up a ton of them over there, and hopefully that'll last me for what I need for the episode. Alright, getting the copper line up there. Alright, that should be far enough to the north. I just want to make sure that I line it up with where the other one is, because it's a good distance there. If at some point in the future I decide that I need a couple more lanes in the master bus, I've got plenty of room to add them. Of course, I say that now, and who knows, in the future I might need to add like 16 more lanes, and we'll just figure it out as we go. Alright, I'm going to put in the space for two new racks. I'm going to check out the spacing I have for the walkway here. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room in this case, because as I was building up the previous racks down there in the miscellaneous facility, I noticed that the path, the distance that that concrete path, not concrete, that's stone bricks. I'm not even doing concrete yet. I'm going to have to get to that. Anyway, the amount of space that I'd give myself between the main bus and the path, just not quite enough, like maybe another tile. So I went ahead and did that here. And alright, I'm getting the belts splitting off there. And then all of these are going to be underground, under where the potential new lanes are going to be. I just can't seem to get the mouse to go straight half the time. Uh, always end up with like one or two tiles being put in the wrong place there. Oh well. It's not that important. Anyway, bringing over the copper. Over here, the science facility, I don't imagine we're going to be needing a whole lot of really specialized stuff. Like, I don't believe that we're going to be needing processor units over here. We're just going to need the five basic uh, resources that I already have on the master bus: copper, iron, the two types of circuits, and the steel. Everything else that it needs. We'll also eventually need the sulfuric acid as well to make the batteries. Everything else is going to be made on site. All the belts, all the inserters, all the batteries, and that should be enough to get us going. I'm going to start over here with the red science. Always a good place to start. A red science needs copper plates and gears, and gears are of course made from iron plates, so I'm going to have them crafted up on site. And I'm just kind of working out how I want to have everything spaced out. This will go through a couple of iterations here. I apologize if this just seems like it takes forever. Uh, just keep in mind, if it seems like it's taking a long time here, just imagine how long it took me while I was recording the video, because what you're seeing here is sped up 300%. So just be thankful you don't have to sit through the real-time version of what's going on here. It should be a simple enough thing. I just have to get these two resources up from the bus, but it's just a matter of how I want it all laid out once it actually gets there. So we're just going to fiddle around with that a little bit to try to work out where we want it. And then I decide I want to just move this whole thing up completely. I'm also using a different type of transition there from the main bus into each rack. You'll see that I'm actually using 3 splitters. The reason for this is that if this rack is not actually requiring any of those resources, both belts have their full throughput for the remaining racks downstream, as it were. Whereas before, when I was just splitting one of the lanes off entirely, even if that rack wasn't using any of those resources actively, anything downstream was now limited to the throughput of a single belt instead of 2. So it was bottlenecking downstream unnecessarily. This way, at least, if something downstream needs the resources, it has full access to both of those belts. Hopefully, we'll see what I'm talking about as things progress. There you see I'm adding the output. These red science packs are actually going to be shuttled out to the main bus. It's just something you haven't seen me do in the miscellaneous facility just yet. I'll probably end up having to do that at some point, like with batteries and stuff like that. But this is probably the first iteration you've seen of that. It's fairly simple. It's basically just the reverse of what was going on before. And this is part of the original plug-and-play style that was proposed by the user on the Factorio forums, where I blatantly stole this idea from. Alright, heading back down here to my junk box, I'm going to pick up some of these assemblers, because one of them is a level 3 assembler that will come in handy later. Eventually I will add level 3 assembly to the miscellaneous facility so that I can upgrade all of these assemblers to level 3, so that they can actually work a little bit faster. Another thing you'll notice up here is that I'm actually doubling my output of science packs, whereas before I simply had I had 5. The golden ratio of science packs is the red science packs take 5 seconds for each one to craft. Green science packs take 6 seconds, and blue science packs take 12 seconds. So the magic ratio is 5, 6, and 12. Here you'll notice I'm actually doubling that for 10 of the red science packs, and once I get this up and running, there will be a total of 12 green science packs. And then over in the blue science, I'll probably end up having a total of 24. This way I will be able to, ideally at least, handle at least 40 science labs, and then that might even increase once I upgrade all the assemblers to level 3. So we'll be able to finish off the remaining science rather quickly, because all of the remaining science now is going to be taking a ton of science packs. So it's a good idea to have the additional output to keep up with that demand. I mean, it's not that it can't do it. using the slower method. And I've talked about before how science just kind of happens a little too quickly anyway. But we're so close to the end, and a lot of these, like I said, the requirements for the remaining bits of science, they just escalate almost exponentially. So we're going to need a few more to keep up with the demand. So anyway, that's what's going on there. As you see down here, I'm going to be crafting the belts and the standard inserters on site, which needs both the iron plates and some electronic circuits. That's going to be the belt over here on the right side. And I'm crafting up some more assembly machines in my inventory. And while I'm waiting on those, I'm just going to go ahead and put down all the inserters. Now I am regrettably bottlenecking just a little bit on the inserters because they have to, the inserter assembler I should specify, because it is using long-handed inserters to both take in and output, so that might slow things down just a little bit. But hopefully it will still be able to keep up with the demand and be able to service all 12 of those assembly machines. Alright, everything takes off and then stops immediately. And I'm trying to figure out why it's not actually working. There's some attacks going on again. Everything is getting... Oh, except for the inserters, of course, which are not getting the electronic circuits. So I'm going to go ahead and bring those in. That's going to be something that's needed to be on the main bus anyway. Alright, that goes up there, and it's still not taking off. I'm thinking maybe there's a glitch or something that not recognizing the inserters that I've put down there. So it wasn't picking any up, so I put some in manually from my inventory. And then I realized it's because I did not give those assembly machines an output inserter. So, rookie mistake on my part there. My bad. Alright, everything seems to be going alright now. There's a biter comes in over there, and I got a little overzealous with my protection and ended up shotgunning one of my own assembly machines to death. That'll teach him to mess with me. And sure enough, there's a new biter base that just moved in just to the north. See, they do this when your back is turned, and they just, move into the neighborhood and lower real estate values for everyone. And oh, okay, enough of that. Okay, I'm gonna go clean up this place, and instead of picking up those turrets, I'm just gonna put a few more down to kind of ward off any other potential neighbors in the area. Alright, everything is filling up quite nicely down here. Eventually I will put up a brand new defensive wall. I worked out some designs in a test run that seem like they should be pretty nice. But I unfortunately don't get around to that in this episode. So you'll have to wait and see. But trust me, it is very upgradable to using both laser turrets, gun turrets, and eventually a flamethrower turret or two. And I have some interesting plans for this that hopefully I'll actually be able to pull off. In the meantime, I'm bringing over the rest of the resources onto the main bus, the advanced circuits and the steel plates, which really honestly don't look like plates. They actually look like steel girders, but that's just an aesthetic. Alright, hey, there's an attack going on over in the my oil pump. It was just a temporary thing. Obviously, it didn't last very long, but it's interesting to note because that's probably the first time that area over there has actually been attacked. So it just means that the pollution is spreading and the neighbors are moving in a little too closely over there. Like I said, I'll eventually be getting the defensive walls to encompass the entire facility. But first I need to know how big that facility is actually going to be. So until I actually get everything built up. I'm not entirely sure. I want to go placing a bunch of stuff down and then have to go back and pick it all up again. Alright, while I was down there, I picked up all of the excess science packs that had been produced. I'm just going to go ahead and force them into some of these machines so that they'll be taken care of eventually. Alright, I'm going to need to pick up some more iron to craft up more assembly machines. Before I can move on to the blue science, there are actually two more items that need to be crafted up here. The first one I'm going to take care of is battery production. And just checking everything out down here to see what it needs. It's iron plates, copper plates, and sulfuric acid. I'm going to put in the sulfur pipeline right up here. The sulfuric acid pipeline. Because I don't want to confuse anybody with the fact that there actually is sulfur that you produce in order to make sulfuric acid. I want to make sure that you know which one of those I'm actually talking about. Alright, I'm just going to pull these off the main bus down here and get everything reconnected. Whoops, I forgot to put the underground belt connection up there, which means that I can move this whole thing forward just a little bit. Alright, I know it seems a little silly to underground the belt and then immediately bring it back up, but it's an aesthetic. It also means that whenever I'm walking around down there, I'm not going to be moved around by the belts. Alright, put down the assembly machines and then realize batteries are not produced in assembly machines. They're produced in chemical plants. So got to craft up a bunch of those. I'm going to have a total of 6, which might be a bit of overkill. But when you're dealing with a mega factory, it's better to have overkill than underproduce anything. So we're just going to do it that way. Alright, while those are crafting up in my inventory, just getting everything set up again. Alright, there's one more. The output belt there. I'm just going to have these go out onto the main bus, because there might be something else that I could use those batteries for. Maybe at the end of the bus, I'll have them collect into a chest so that I can pick them up. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. It's just the idea behind the plug and play modular design here that I'm using is that you generally don't share resources or finished products from one rack to another. You put them back down onto the main bus, or set up a logistics system with like robots or something. So I'm going to try to keep to that aesthetic as much as possible. It's really not like a big deal. I realize that I don't need that much steel on the main bus, so I'm going to steal that lane and use it for the batteries instead. Just going to have that come right down there and feed in. I'm going to have them stay on one side, or only one lane on that belt, because the other lane is going to be used for the filter inserters that will be produced in the next rack. But before I can do that, I want to get this one up and running. And I realize that there's only one fluid that I'm going to need here in the science facility. So I really only need that one line. And here it is. I'm going to bring up the sulfuric acid. This will eventually be something I need to do for all of the fluids on the master bus. But for right now, I'm only going to deal with the one that I actually need. And this power pole is right in my way. I should just put it down there instead. Now it's of course not reaching the rest of the facility. There we go. That'll do it. And now I can bring in my my sulfuric acid line. There's more attacks going on. I'm going to have to do something about them soon. Alright, moving things forward a little bit. Bring that up there. That's all connected. Alright, batteries are producing. I briefly think about maybe balancing that the lanes there, but then I remember, oh yeah, I'm going to have to do filter inserters also on that line. Alright, we are nearing the end of the episode. My inventory is full, so my construction robots are flipping out. So in my panic, I decide I'm just going to craft up some rails because that usually frees up inventory space. But then it's having a problem too, so I just plop down a chest, move everything in there. There we go, get rid of all that wood. I'm going to set up some more defenses along here just in case anyone comes along to start trouble. Alright, but that is all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.